Hello everyone, January the 13th today, and the big theme of this month, January, many astrologers have talked about this, is the lunar nodes changing signs, which is the evolutionary direction we are on as a collective, the meeting of lunar and solar energies, that is the nodes. Here is the chart. That's just when the nodes have shifted, they move backwards from Gemini backwards into Taurus. Will happen on the 18th. So this is really the event we're heading toward, and it will be quite a dramatic shift in energies, in intentions, in how we handle reality, how we encounter reality. Much more hands-on, practical, versus the kind of airy-fairy, very mental approach Gemini had in the last 20 months or so, since May 2020. So let's just first zoom in on where we are here in time regarding the Mayan calendar, because as usual these events are in an amazing synchronicity with the galactic time. So the day this will be the case, when the lunar nodes change signs, will be here the final one of this 20-day core column, which we are in since December the 30th, and January the 18th will be the last day, kind of the final conclusion of this 20-day period, which is the spine of time, the most intense part of the calendar, where past and future meet and overlap, and also where new things are easily to be created, where new intentions can be planted. And I guess we all have experienced this was a very intense time so far. We are now, as I'm recording this, we are here on the 5 is overtone, that is the blue overtone eagle or power of vision 5 men. Tomorrow, as of the 14th of January, we enter this final 5-day stretch, and it will get really intensified. There's a huge build-up of energies in the next few days. Many things are happening. That's why I decided to do a little recording here. So just as a warm-up, I want to focus for a few minutes on this lunar nodal change, show you the highlights here. I always look also at the heliocentric charts, as you know, the heliocentric kind of being the energetic background. And if we look at exactly this moment in heliocentric, it's very interesting that Uranus is right here at the most powerful position of the chart, right in zenith, signifying where our consciousness is heading towards in these next 18 months into mid-2023. Very Uranian. And on top of that, Uranus has just changed direction couple hours prior to the lunar nodal shift. As you see here, this is 6:49 p.m. when the nodes change, and a few hours earlier, 3:26 p.m. that's when Uranus hits its 5-month end of moving backwards as seen from Earth, planting the seed for a new forward push, adding a new leg of its expression. And maybe I just want to throw in one quick remark here in general. If you're kind of new here, don't worry if you don't get everything what I'm talking about. It will slowly assimilate as I'm kind of always building on the story. For that reason, it's definitely also a good idea to go back to my older recordings. Many of these themes are still very, very actual, as many of these planetary alignments, they are active for a long time, for months or even years on end. It's really so that many, let's say that way, evolution works on many levels, and all these different alignments of planets, they show different levels of energies changing, different segments, different aspects of reality. So, and all these themes are kind of interlocking with one another. So, if we, for example, here looking at this Pallas-Neptune conjunction, which is the third one, there were two earlier ones in the year 2021. We had those. Pallas was turning retrograde at some point and then having its second conjunction, and this is now its third one, which will be exact on the 17th. Now, just saying this combination of energies has been on and building for quite a few months, I would say through the whole last year. Pallas is the investigator, it's the mind which sees patterns, which realizes things which are matching and are not matching. So Pallas is the investigator, very much so the asteroid's energy which rules science and art. In Pisces, very imaginative, so this has been a great time for imagining new dimensions, new worlds, but also helped us to become more clear on what is true and what not. Neptune, as I pointed out many times, is the big enigma of our times. In Pisces, totally has, one could say, has too much weight at our present time. In these present times, in these present 15 years between 2011 and 2025, that's how long Neptune is in this sign of Pisces, which is its own sign. That means it has an extremely strong impact. Now, again, because Neptune is such a complex character, it is all the bandwidth between deception, illusion, and on the other side, spiritual enlightenment and clairvoyance, clairsentience, where we see all the different dimensions, connect with them, which usually are not accessible. So a huge help for all the Neptunian themes to be embraced, mentally understood in these last whatever how many months. And this is now kind of the harvesting moment, the last of their three conjunctions. And if we go just back to that one chart, this is this one here. See, that is when those two had their exact, or will have their exact meeting on the 17th here. Anyway, there is so many things here happening in the next few days, and just pointing out the Sun-Pluto conjunction, Mercury turning retrograde, and squaring Uranus. So let's just go back a little bit and go through these charts I have lined up here for you one by one in a quick succession. I don't want to stay too long in each chart, but just showing you how these are very special times and something is truly shifting. This is just a few hours from when I'm recording this, and the moon is at the farthest distance from our planet Earth. It will be at 1447 Gemini, and it so happens that in Greenwich on the 0 meridian it will be exactly at midnight point, showing that a powerful 4 weeks are ahead of us, very lunar. The moon representing the people in a collective, in a mundane chart, but also the general mood, emotions going up and down. So this is kind of a reset point, and it is opposing the great attractor here at 14 degrees and about 22 minutes of arc. That's not here charted, but I mean it is a astronomical point of high importance, a focal point, kind of a confluence of all the star systems and galaxies in our local cluster. That's where they all will head toward over the next billions of years. So there's some great attraction, as it says, a magnetism. So this axis in itself is, whatever is congruent with it, it will be magnified. So it's also a magnifying of our consciousness in that sense. So this is the starting point, and then again, this very special thing about that the moon is right here at the 4th house cusp, the root point of the chart, a great synchronicity. Then as we go just hours later, tomorrow, it will be close to noon universal time. Here in North America, very early in the morning, Mercury will go retrograde for about 3 weeks. And as I said, pretty much exactly squaring Uranus. So this square aspect of Uranus will be within orb for quite a time, around 2 weeks I would say, has been already for a few days and will be in that same mode. Mercury-Uranus is new ideas, but also kind of whenever Uranus is affected by Mercury, there is kind of a bit of a mental struggle in a way. That's what the square aspect definitely shows. And Uranus is rising pretty much dead on exactly. So Uranus has a very important role here. Uranus is getting more real in a way again after having gone retrograde for so many months, and is getting ready, just about to turn direction, as we said, on the 18th. Uranus, novel and innovative thinking, looking at reality from an unusual angle, looking around corners, and because the moon is so close here to where it's farthest away from the sun, and the black moon, which is the median around which this place wobbles where the moon is farthest away. So this is all saying it is a time also of looking at problems, of looking at what is not right here on this planet, which is so important in this present time, that more people realize that something is terribly off here, really. And this Uranus-Mercury square is part of that. It's also Saturn is here involved, Saturn T-squaring the ascendant and the descendant. There's some serious thinking going on here, kind of how as it should be. And so this is definitely gearing up, getting more strength, more traction. Also the sextile here with Chiron, the wounded healer, Chiron in Aries, again and again telling us that we are having to change ourselves in order to improve this world. It is each working on him, herself, which finally will bring the breakthrough. So it is important to keep up the good spirits and to treat yourself in many ways, to do something creative and get out of that dark mood, which is more of a general truth than not. So keep up the good spirits and know there's always help coming when we need it, but we have to do the first step and get into our power. And that's what that Sun, Juno, Pluto here is in the 10th house. It's strongly telling us we have to get into our power, and then transformation will happen. We have to come together as a people. Venus up there too in Capricorn. Social responsibility is the theme of our times. And as Venus is going through a restoration, through a phase of healing, of finding back to its true role and assignment, which is all about harmony and care and protection of those who need it, particularly so in Capricorn. So this is the big quest, and it is right up here in midheaven, here close to Hilonome 2, which we looked at in my last video, a little closer. Hilonome, which is about the readiness to sacrifice even what is most dearest to us in order to serve a higher purpose, even our lives to the extreme point. So there is this intensity in this chart, all these late Capricorn placements, and this is, as I say, building over the next few days into these last few days of the calendar. Then this is the 14th, 11:41 a.m. and then just a few hours later, 8:10 p.m. also tomorrow, the 14th, we have a heliocentric Pallas Salacia conjunction. Pallas again is the asteroid of investigation, of understanding the complexity of whatever is going on and seeing the patterns, lining up all the different arguments. And Salacia is a newly found little planet, and it's about what we enjoy doing, what we love, what we put our passion into. So there's quite some passion here in finding the truth. That's what this aspect is signifying. Interesting again that synchronicity, while heliocentrically on a purely energetic level. This conjunction here occurs tomorrow exact, and again that has been building and is on for quite a while. This is just the moment of most exact alignment, which implies that we are enjoying on a very deep level to dig on, keep digging on, and trying to unravel what truly is the case. There's some intensity, some passion there, and at the same time, as seen from planet Earth, yes, Pallas is here together with Neptune. On one hand, that ability to see through the more invisible dimensions, get a hold of, try to wrap our minds around it, but also to work through and unearth all the deceptions which are still plaguing our society. So there's this war going on. Naturally, this is now the next chart. You see just an hour later again, there is Ceres having its station. Again, this is after many months of going backwards. Ceres here. Ceres has just been connecting with Sedna and the nodes over the last couple weeks. So this is an ongoing theme, and with Ceres now going forward again, this will be still very active, this whole meeting of these 3 points for quite a while. Now Ceres as such is nourishment, motherly love, care, and Sedna is a very dark one and can be seen in the context of the disregard which is given to children and to health and as such, and abuse is often connected with Sedna and the lunar node here, traversing now backwards over these two, and this gets way more emphasized naturally after the 18th, when the node is back in the same sign as Sedna and Ceres. So it will get darker at first, more difficult, more tangible in a way. Right now it's still kind of with the nodes in these air signs, in the air sign, and the fire sign here on the other side, the south node. It's kind of more theoretical and airy-fairy, I say. That's a kind of everything is seen through the mental filter, not so much felt and experienced. So this will change with more Taurus and Scorpio energies coming in. Things get way more real, and I guess that's what we need before there's a big collective waking up. Things have to get more real. Very interesting that at that moment when Ceres here changes directions, that we have a pretty dead-on exact conjunction of the moon with the black moon. So again, I'm just pointing out these few exact alignments of tomorrow the 14th. They are all active all at once. So while Mercury is turning direction, so is Ceres turning direction. Those two interlock, becomes one theme, and Ceres is definitely one of the key factors here, which is all about that nourishment, that care, which is so missing at this point. The the tremendous disregard we are paying to life and to the survival of our species. So this all will have to come even more to a climax, and this will happen through the next few weeks. As I said, January, February are the most intense months of this year, 2022. Once we are through this time, and there is an enormous potential for waking up. As the saying goes, when the nightmare becomes unbearable, then one wakes up. It is what we experience ourselves when we are in such a situation. This is collectively what is going on. We are building towards that pinnacle very clearly. Also here with Neptune and Pallas on the 7th house cusp here in a perfect square to the moon and the black moon, shows that this is the battle we are fighting right now to cut through that darkness and that enormous deception which has been put as like a blanket over the whole planet. And this is becoming very, very obvious with this T-square here to the main axis, the horizon, the ascendant-descendant axis. So yes, it will get quite a bit darker. It is necessary, and I guess it can't go fast enough, because we need to wake up to save as many which can be saved still before it's too late. So it is a battle with time too. BNR here, BNR is the strong man, the independent spirit, innovative thinking, freedom fighter. So BNR has been playing a very important role already over the last 12 months, as I have pointed out many times. It is many people who are doing the right thing, and it is a growing number. So then early 15th on Saturday, early morning, Venus crosses the 15:07:30 Capricorn line, bringing it into hexagram 38. That's where it will be for the next full month into mid-February. It will turn direct here in the 11th degree on the 29th. So it is doing its loop here. That's where it will turn around. This is hexagram 38. Opposition, which again means being in a situation where we truly feel that being pulled apart into two different directions. Venus is under a tremendous stress test between mid-January and mid-February, in that whole phase of getting more to understand what's wrong, having that introspection into all things Venus, and finding out what has to be improved upon. 29th of January will be when Venus will come to change her direction, going forward from there on again, and it seems by then already we have come to a place collectively of a much deeper understanding of what's truly going on. And naturally, all these extreme alignments we have here are helping, pushing us really to the edge of the cliff as a global village, as a global community. And then, yes, on Sunday we have the Sun-Pluto conjunction. Sun and Pluto exactly in the same degree. The moon rising here, this is truly helpful. This is great. The moon in Cancer, first of all, also with the Cancer rising, it shows that yes, the emotions are coming back in a very powerful way. Love for each other, and that love becoming more active and grow ever stronger. That's what truly will do the job in the end. If we come together as one and really take on that mothering role of care, which has been so much not done as should, to that whole program of deception. Mars here, and Mars is getting increasingly important. Mars is heading towards the galactic center here at 27 degree. That will be in around the 22nd, 23rd of January exact. So it is, everything is gaining steam in that sense. Also Jupiter here close to midheaven shows there's some expansive energies. And by the way, this is the Scorpionic dwad, 10 degrees till 12:30 of Cancer. Scorpio being the planet where Pluto is at home, and Pluto also here with the Sun together is at the cusp of the 8th house. So all this is a multiplication of transformative forces and transformation. In that sense, in a Plutonic way, means before something new can be built, the old has to be demolished and taken down. It is a very, very powerful phoenix energy. The old has to be burnt down literally for the new to arise, being resurrected from its ashes, as the story goes. That's a truly Plutonian story. In this degree right, which is also the Scorpionic dwad, by the way, between 25 and 27:30 in Capricorn. Again, for those new to this concept, every 2.5 degrees changes the subnode of a sign. It's kind of a fractal principle. So the first 2.5 degrees of each sign are double its own nature, and then 2.5 till 5 will be the following, having the overtone here. So, and if you go through that, then between between 25 and 27:30, this is the Scorpionic dwad. So then again, just a few hours later, 12 hours later or so, Chiron and Maki have their 7th and last oppositions. This has been a process going on since probably 2018 or so. Chiron here, Maki here. The theme here is Maki is about creation of new paradigms. It's really dreaming reality into creation. This has definitely been hijacked in many ways, but we are working through what has been spoiled. That is that hexagram 18 where Maki is in. Chiron here is redirecting this energy of creation and again internalizing it, telling us yes, we can do this, but we have to first envision ourselves as being empowered by our own intentions. So that's the message here, and it's beautiful that Pluto and the Sun here are at the 4th house cusp when this last opposition is exact. The Moon mid Cancer here. Yes, emotions are healing. Love is what carries us through. This, as I said, the Pallas Neptune conjunction, when it is exact, on the 17th as well, and then the full moon just hours later on the 17th, and then the lunar nodes shift into the new hexagrams. That happens slightly before they are at 0 degrees. It's actually at 00730, where a months long episode comes to end. Then as hexagram 20 and 34, they were forming this really powerful channel which was open since the 4th of September, which helped us to reconnect with nature on a very deep level. This will shift, and hexagram 8 will be shifting our focus again from that more contemplative place to a more actionable coming together. Contemplation is hexagram 20, where the North Node was in since the 4th of September, as I say. And as we get into hexagram 8, which is the union, the coming together, the really bonding and building bridges, standing strong in unison, that's what this will be all about. So this, just an hour or two after full moon, a very powerful moon here, again showing that it's the emotional energies which are bonding us, building that momentum which is necessary to overcome all that deception which we are fighting with. And then there's another one, TX300, stationary direct, just hours before Uranus. You see they're both pretty much in the same area of the zodiac, and they, within hours, they both turn direct. So it's not just that Uranus is turning direct on that 18th, it's also TX300, which is kind of a bit of a rough energy, and it's not giving in that kind of energy. Interesting, the opposition to Hygeia here, which is ongoing during these days. So standing up, being bold, loud, obnoxious at extreme, but sometimes we need to be that in terms of winning over all that noise and all that false transmissions. So this helps. This is adding another intensity into the cocktail here. You remember, this is the great attractor here, 14 degrees in Sag, so this helps. This is even making us more bold and daring and to the point, putting our foot down. That's kind of the energy we see here. interesting also that midheaven here in this chart is what we saw in the full moon chart here as the ascendant. So these two moments again are interlocking, giving this TX 300 even more weight. Here we are again. And meanwhile also we have a 0-degree Leo moon here. 0-degree axis of Leo and Aquarius, supercharged still. For the last few years there have been so many important alignments in these 2 degrees, most of all naturally the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in December 2020. So every time an alignment happens, or the moon is in this area, or that this whole theme gets amplified again, of rewriting history as a society. That's what is the basic theme here of this Venus, of this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction of December 2020. And we have experienced that in so many ways, how the whole society is pushed into a new direction, a very unhealthy one at first. At least that's kind of the globalists' attempt. There's a better way to do this, as we know, which is the Great Awakening, which is bringing unity and unison to humanity in a much more organic and spiritual way. And the more they push us into the wrong corner of the game, the more the resistance will grow and eventually course correct and bring things back to where it's really meant to go, where it will be healthy. And this is just again the temporary extreme of our situation, pushing us all the way into the other direction to create a momentum. It's really like a pendulum too. The more you pull the pendulum to one side, the greater you will have the movements to the other. So it's really kind of a deep inhale before a powerful move forward in the right direction is possible. So we are still at the very tail end of this inhale, of this going ever deeper into the darkness, the chaos, the obstruction. So we all come together and bond, and that's what seems to be indicated here in this chart is happening. Now this is Uranus station. Again, Uranus has gone backwards for about 5 months, and this is the moment it gains new forward momentum. It finally has found a foothold and is now pushing forward again with a Leo moon. That is the readiness to be loud and to speak up, to face problems. Australia. Cancer rising, again with Venus and Juno here at the 7th house cusp, kind of flanking it pretty much. If you do the math here, 13, 24, 37, 44, that would be pretty much exactly at the midpoint. Would be something like 1852, so very, very exact at the midpoint of Venus and Juno, which is that standing together and closing shoulders with one another. Varuna comes in here. Varuna is the energy of truth and justice. Let me see, I have a little right up here. Yes, it's the North Star, the gold star of doing things in the right way. Strong principles, unwavering, ethical, punisher of those who lie or do not honor contracts. Yes, there is some indication that yes, truth is becoming much more of a commodity in these coming months. This is where we are heading to. This T-square here with Astrea, ready to face problems head on, and Hygeia again, health, well-being, TX300, that force which gives us the courage to be bold and loud, to speak our minds. Very beautiful here how this is enhanced with the moon's presence. And then yes, we come to the lunar nodes, where we started here on the 18th, that final day in the core day column here. So this will be an enormously important jumping board into the next phase of this game. You could say with Uranus and the lunar nodes changing on this day, this energy will be still very important. It's kind of really the seed is planted for a whole big time, quite a phase of months or even 1.5 years in terms of the nodes. Deucalion here, Deucalion, forward looking energy, preparing for something which we do not really yet know what it is. The energy of Noah, of that ability to receive information from a higher source and do the right thing in preparation for something which is not even yet seen as a possibility by most. And yes, last but not least, I want to go back to this chart here, the heliocentric chart of that lunar shift as seen from Greenwich. I really like that Uranus up here, renewal of our ideas, how this Aquarian energy should manifest, giving it body, giving it physicality. Again, I said it many times, Uranus in Taurus totally resonates with harnessing free energy, harnessing that electricity directly from the ground at best, because it is available. We know it from Nikola Tesla's work, that energy is here in abundance. It's just a matter of how to plug into it, how to extract it. This is all coming in the next 12 months, 18 months for sure. As soon as we're going in uphill again, as soon as we're out of this bottleneck expanding, which will be as early as March, April, April is supposed to be a really a big breakthrough month of expansion, of new thinking. So we're really at the most critical, most difficult place, and it will get a bit more of that, because it really has to come to, it has to dawn on people's minds many more. We have to come and be part of that movement, but we are having the impact we will need. That is showing in all the charts. Still, it's very important that we do the right thing, that we do not just think a savior will come in and get everything right. It is us. We are the ones we have been waiting for. Very important. So again, thanks for listening to all that, and if you enjoyed it, please give it a like, or even share it, and subscribe. Okay, well, thanks, and see you soon.